Hey, folks, thanks for dropping in to We Be Fishing, the viewable podcast version here on YouTube. If you're new, thanks for coming in and joining us. If you're a regular, welcome back. It's good to see you, and we're glad you made it in. We're doing something special today. We've got an interview episode today. We're doing a spotlight version of our fan. So that's right. Our subscriber spotlight is going on today. We got a wonderful couple down in Alabama that we've done an interview with today. And it is about catfishing and jug fishing down there in Alabama. They've got some neat, unique jugs that they've created down there. And I'm excited to talk to them about that and hope you're going to enjoy this episode with them. So stay tuned and let's get into this show. All right. Well, welcome to the show. We've got Michael and April Boozer, right?
Right.
And you guys are from Alabama, right?
Yes, Alabama, Toggerville, Alabama.
Awesome. Now, there in Alabama, where is it that you guys are fishing primarily?
On the Alabama River here in Autauga County.
Okay, the Alabama River. Okay, now you're located right on the river, right? Is that right?
Yeah, we live right on the river.
Awesome. Well, you know, you're living the dream for most of us right there. You know, who wouldn't want to do that for sure? So that's awesome. Now, you guys do um, a lot of catfishing down there, correct?
Right.
And now, what type of catfish do you have down there in Alabama on that river?
Yeah, we have blue cats, channel cats, and flatheads.
Awesome. Okay. All right. And so, you know, there's not everybody around the state or excuse me, around the country has blue catfish, for instance. You know, most everybody has channel catfish. And of course, a lot of people have the flathead too, but blues are not everywhere. So those of us who have them are a lot of times fortunate. Now, there's some states that see them as a invasive or a nuisance fish actually for them. But I got to tell you, I love blue blue catfish. So and they are fun to catch, but they also fry up really nicely. So now you guys do a lot of jug fishing down there in Alabama, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Very good.
And have y'all been doing that for a while?
Um, we've been jug fishing maybe about a year now.
Okay. All right. Now you've watched some of our shows, some of our jugging episodes in the past,
Right.
right?
Oh yeah.
And you know, hopefully you've come up with an idea or two off our shows, maybe, and you know, to get you going, or maybe helpful tips there. Now, but I know the jugs you guys are using. Now, I've watched both you and her, you know, April, make these jugs. You took painstaking time and effort to do this. You put a lot of thought into the jugs that you were making, and but they are different than the jugs most people use. Can you give us, you know, tell us about those jugs, you know, and how you made them, or what, you know, how the design came about?
Well, we started out, fishing with rod and reel. We liked that just fine. Then we started watching channels, your channel for one, watching you jug fish, and that looked really fun.
Right.
And we liked the way that went, the way you showed it, and another channel or two.
Mhm.
So we really got into jug fishing that way. And so we started watching different YouTube videos about how to make jugs and different ideas for jugs.
Right.
And it's really a conglomeration of a lot of different jugs that a lot of different people used. And we kind of put the ideas together all into one jug. My wife's holding one here, for example.
Okay.
Of course, we use the pool noodle with the PVC pipe. And inside the PVC pipe is a lead slug. Of course, we made our own lead slugs. It was cheaper to buy lead slag off of the internet and melt it. And we just used 2x6s, drilled them together, drilled the holes out, melted on lead,
Uh,
and put them in there, bust them loose. We put little caps on the end of them. I put a little closer so you can see it.
okay.
And of course, the little
All right.
bolt there for the string. But this side here is the real business end, the part that we like the best. We put a little tea light on the top,
Right.
of course. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
That makes being able to see them, really well at night. Of course, the reflective tape for backup in case the light fails us. Um,
Now, do you lay these jugs out flat, or are they standing up when you put them out?
well, during the day we lay them down flat,
Okay.
and then of course they'll pop up when they get a fish on them.
Right.
At night with the light, we put them in standing up so we get a good 360 view of the light,
Okay. All right.
and then we just wait until we see them dancing around. The light was added because at night it's hard to drive the boat, watch the boat, watch the banks, watch the water, stand up with a spotlight, looking for the jugs at all times. Because if you don't have a spotlight on it when a fish hits, then you miss the hit, and you don't know you have anything until you're missing a jug, later.
Right.
So the lights really made it possible for us to be able to sit. We put the jugs out at night, which is when we do 95% of our fishing anyway. We can lean back, we can relax, we'll watch fishing videos on YouTube, watch a movie, listen to
Yeah.
music, talk, spend time together, and relax. And all we have to do is just kind of look out and wait for a light to start dancing around.
Right. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Watching the lights.
It's exciting. Yeah. Absolutely. When those things start going up and down or moving, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go get it.
It
And,
almost reminds me of the movie Jaws when he bit the line and he started dragging the buoy through the water,
right.
just on a slightly smaller scale. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's very cool to watch those jugs. And if people who haven't done it, folks, you're missing out. If you've not tried it, you are missing out. Jug fishing is a tradition in this country. It's gone on for years and years and years. People have done this. It's a great way to get out and have fun. Whole families can be involved. You've got a pontoon boat there, and so you can load people up and get everybody involved. Even if you're catching one fish, it can be several people getting involved, catching that fish. The person driving the boat, the person maybe using a hook to get that over there, somebody fighting the line to get the fish up, somebody with a net to scoop the fish up. It can be a lot of fun for everybody on board there, and
so
it's
it opens the door for other activities too. Like last night, we have an inverter for our batteries, and we'll bring a Roku TV on the boat with us sometimes.
right,
And I use my phone as a hotspot. And last night we had kids on the boat
right,
with us, and we let the kids help us put the jugs out. We got the jugs out. We were in a slough, so we didn't have to worry about current.
right,
And we just sit there. We had the TV going. They watched a movie, and then when we see a jug bouncing around, we pause the movie, get the fish, and they really enjoyed it. Then you don't, and it allows the kids to get involved, and you don't have to worry about them backlashing your reel
you're right,
when you're using jugs, which
exactly,
is real good. And we invite people out, friends and family come. They enjoy it. Sometimes we'll go several state parks up and down the river. We'll go to barbecue and picnic and walk nature trails. We'll put a few jugs out, grill and eat, and you can watch them from the bank. We see one moving, we get in the boat and go get it. So it gives you a chance to fish plus other things in between. You have that
exactly.
flurry of activity when you're putting them out, and then while you're waiting on them, you can do other things, relax, enjoy the river and the water, and then you have the excitement of when you catch the fish, and then when you're finished, the flurry of activity of getting them back up.
And we had some friends that we took out for one of these trips. We put out like 50 jugs with them. And when we got back to the pier, they're like, now, how much do we owe you for that experience? I mean, it was like we chartered something. And I was like, no, we just want everybody else to enjoy it with us.
Right. And that's what I was thinking. You guys are probably exposing people to jug fishing that have never done it before or never seen it, maybe have not even heard of it before, and giving them a chance to get out there for the first time and experience that, and they're having a blast. And I can understand them saying how much we owe you, because it's a lot of fun, and some people may only do it a few times even in their life, but that's going to be a memory they keep forever, you know. And for others, you're starting an addiction there. For some of them, some of them are going to want to do it all the time because it's just a blast. First time I jug fished was many years ago. I got away from it, but I never forgot how exciting that was chasing. And what it was back then, we had a big old plastic milk jug, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and you know, and we had a fish that would take this big, huge jug full of air underwater, and sometimes you could see it under the water.
Oh, yeah.
And it would just go, and we chased it from spot to spot to spot before we finally got that thing in. But that chase was so exciting, I never forgot it, you know. And it was like, yeah, I want to do that again. And so we now, you know, had the opportunity, you know, place in life where I had the opportunity to start getting out more and doing more fishing and things like that. It's like, yeah, let's make up some jugs and start jug fishing again. All right. What is your primary baits and stuff that you guys are using down there to catch these fish?
Most of the time we cut up chicken breast and soak them in strawberry jello.
Yeah.
We've had a little success with also soaking jumbo shrimp in the same strawberry jello.
Which that's an idea we got from you, by the way.
Absolutely.
We called the biggest, our personal best channel cat came off of that shrimp.
Okay. That's awesome. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. So
Of
that,
course, we do live cut bait also.
okay. All right. So you get fresh bait there from the river and you cut that up. All right. What kind of fish are you using there in Alabama as cut bait?
Well, we feed the brim around our pier every day, so we come down and have fun just catching, 12 or 15 brim, cutting them in half, putting them on there.
Okay.
When we start to kind of stress them a little bit, when we start to see the pressure on those brim around the pier, we'll let them rest and we'll go throw a net and get some shad. And of course, if we have a hard time getting shad, we've always got the chicken to fall back on, and now the shrimp too.
Yes. Yeah.
So
It's always good. Obviously, there's always night crawlers you can put on there. There's anything, chicken gizzards, liver, whatever. There's so many different baits you can use for jug fishing, and they're all going to catch fish. Now, primarily if you're going to use night crawler, you're more unlikely to catch channel catfish than the blues, but and so on. But the you can always find some type of bait in your area wherever you live. Different people have different things. Now we catch a lot of skipjack herring down here and love using that. It works really, really well also. And that's one of my favorite other baits if I'm going to use a cut fish is probably the skipjack herring, even more so probably than shad down here for us. It just, for me, that's what I found it works even better. Now we've got people down here that love the shad here in Kentucky, and they would rather go out there and get that. Now I'm not going to say I'm not going to use it, because I'm going to use some of that too, but we're going to use whatever we can get our hands on sometimes and what works. So that's a good thing.
Oh, hey, we're not even above cutting up a hot dog and putting it on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we love, another thing we love to do is try bait challenges, right? So we like to do a lot of that for our viewers, but also for ourselves. We want to see how it's going to do, but we also want to give ourselves the best opportunity to catch a fish. So a lot of times when we do go out, we've got a minimum of 2 types of baits, but we usually run at least 3 baits. Sometimes we may have 4 or 5 different types of baits with us to see what they're going to want on that given day. You just never know. Now, you said you made these jugs up, and how many again did you make up?
Well, we made 100. One is MIA.
Uh-oh.
1 out of 100 is all we've lost.
We've only lost 1 in a year, so
that is not bad, and it happened. Yeah. So that's not bad. Now, in your state, in Alabama, regulations on jugging, how many jugs are you allowed there in Alabama?
We don't have a limit.
Yeah, no limit on the number of jugs in the state of Alabama. That's right.
That makes it nice. Now, again, Uh, again, here in Kentucky, we're allowed 50. I know some states, I'm sorry, folks out there, we understand some of you in some states are not even allowed to jug fish. That just seems like a sin to me right there. But
We have a boat. You might want to edit this part of that boat. He's fixing to park, our neighbor. I know that may make it where you can't hear us that good. He's pulling up to his pier now. He'll be done in a second.
we should be all right. All right, so
Okay.
no jug limits on there, and so that's fine. That is cool. Again, like I said, while we're allowed to use 50, we normally, use a lot less than that. Usually, the most we will ever put out at one given time is about 20 jugs, and usually it's less than that. It's 7 to 10, 15 maybe, something like that. And because, like I said, we normally fish during the day. We're trying to get a show out. We want to, be very visible. So we're doing it during the daylight hours. And we're only usually fishing 2 to 3 hours at a time. So that doesn't give the fish a lot of times to hook up. We're not soaking these baits for hours or overnight. So, which if we did, our productivity would be greater. We would catch more fish the longer we left the baits out. But we want to try and stay on them quickly and get to them and get them off and, give them some air time and then get them back in the water. But
Well, good. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and we're night nurses, so we're kind of night owls, and I would say of our 100, when it's just Michael and I, we run about 25.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's got to drive and somebody's got to do the work.
Right.
I'm typically doing the work. But when we have groups come out with us, we've done up to 75 of the 100 at a time. But of course, we've got to have some extra hands. But we're throwing off both sides of the pontoon boat. And then, of course, then we do our relaxing of, like he said, movies and just, relaxing and enjoying spending
Eating
time
and
together.
grilling and cooking on the boat sometimes and just having a good time. But we're kind of like you when we do go fishing, when we put the jugs out, we only leave them in the water, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we pick them up and come home.
Right.
Just because, we don't want to leave them out all night. We don't want fish to stay on the hook that long.
Yeah.
We try to watch them. We see one bouncing around, we go get it. Get the picture, get the fish out of the water, get the picture, get him back in the water.
Right.
And people, a lot of our neighbors and stuff, well, why don't you keep them? Why don't you have a big old fish fry? Why don't you keep your fish? Or people at work, see our pictures and ask us about keeping them. And of course, we joke, we said, well, if we kept everything we caught, there wouldn't be any left. But speaking of that, though, the good thing about where we live, we're fortunate these waters are not pressured catfish wise.
Good.
We live in the area we live at. It's kind of a remote area. We have Montgomery, Prattville, and Selma between us, and they're so many miles away. To get to Selma, you have to go through a dam and a lock. To get to Prattville, it's about 38 miles from where we live. Montgomery's about another 15 past that. Other than that, the only boat ramps is Swift Creek, which is right here where we are, but there's nowhere to get gas on the river out here. So whatever gas you bring, that's all you have.
Right.
So we don't we have the people that live on the river that fish here, which is basically everywhere. The people that live on the river fish the river or the lake.
Right.
But we don't have a lot of people that come here to fish that don't already live here. Of course, we have some. There are no catfish tournaments in this area on this stretch of river. With bass tournaments. Of course, the people that do come from town that come out here to fish, usually bass and crappie fishing.
Right.
So the catfish really aren't that pressured. So that allows us to catch bigger catfish, more catfish, so we're fortunate in that area, that's the case.
That is awesome. So so you can obviously safely take some of those fish out a few times a year. Obviously, you're not going to deplete your resources there by doing that. You probably keep the balance in check a little bit more by doing that, by taking a few out. And but I know what you mean. It's like we get people all the time saying, "Man, well, I can't believe you're letting these fish go." Well, if we kept them all, there's none left, or they're going to go to waste because we're just catching. At times, you catch that many fish that you're not going to eat them all, and you just be wasting and destroying that fish. So,
Well, and people don't understand, if you put out 25 or 50 jugs,
oh yeah,
3 or 4 hours later, you probably have a total of 70, 80, 90 pounds of fish
yeah,
that you've caught total.
yeah,
It may only be 6, 7, 8, or 10 fish, but total, they really start to add up, especially if you
right,
get a few big ones.
yeah,
Of course, most of what we catch are the 5 to 10 pound
right.
range because we don't fish very deep with our jugs. But if you've seen the pictures on our Facebook page, sometimes we do get a big one.
Right, absolutely, it's going to happen. Now it wasn't on a jug, but a guy just down here in our area, he just pulled in a 60-something pounder the other day. He was just out, and he's a cat fisherman, and he pulled in a 60-something pounder, and it happens just on down the way. There was a guy that caught three. 3 different 50 pounders last year down there around Newburgh Dam. And so, thank goodness some of the big fish are still out there. Some people say there's not big fish anymore. Yeah, they are. They're there. You may just have to find them. It's a shame we are losing some of them because of being overfished or commercial overfishing or illegal fishing. And things like that, unfortunately. But thank goodness there's still some out there, and it's good to see people that do catch a lot of these large fish, and they're putting them back in safely, so somebody else can catch them later on, or giving these fish a chance to reproduce and keep that good quality level of genes going on in these fish. But folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I thank you for being a part of our show today and featured here on the show, our guest. And we enjoy seeing some of those pictures that you guys have posted on Facebook and things like that. It's cool. And we're glad that you're subscribing to the channel, watching our channel. We appreciate all of our viewers always. And we thank you guys for being part of that.
Well, I just want to say we appreciate your channel too. We're new fishermen.
Yeah.
I've only been fishing maybe myself 4 or 5 years. My wife, throughout my life, I may have fished, I have more fingers in the time I've gone fishing my whole life. My wife had too.
Right.
I've moved out here about, a couple years ago. I've been fishing about 4 or 5 years. She's been fishing since we met about 2.5 years.
Right.
So we're still new fishermen. Of course, I'm trying to learn, how to fish. Of course, I turned to YouTube. Your channel is one of the channels that I went to learn how to fish. You're always giving useful information that, I enjoyed that. A couple other channels too. And so, we appreciate you, appreciate your channel, appreciate you having us on. It was really exciting for us, of course, to be a part of this. And, so, we thank you for that. Thanks for helping teach us how to fish.
Well, you're most welcome. Well, I want to thank you for bringing us some information about the Alabama River down there and the jug fishing that you do and how you do it. I'm sure a lot of these people are going to find it beneficial, and that that jug fishing is something you guys get to share, together.
Right.
Something that you both can find fun in, and you can share it with your friends as well, and stuff. And so that's just wonderful that you guys are doing that. Again, I want to thank you once again for being on the show. We love to have you. You guys are good about commenting from time to time on some of our episodes and stuff. You chime in, you're active. We appreciate that. And again, we're like all of our subscribers and people that are watching the channel. People like you is why we do this. And again, we want to thank you again for being on the show today.
Thank you, Brad.
Wow, it was nice having them on the show. Yeah, I just love the different, unique design of the jugs, and it works wonderful for them. And for some of you else out there, that may be exactly what you're looking for as well. Jug fishing is a lot of fun, folks. If you've not tried it, you need to. It may not be your favorite. It may be just a different alternative to some of the other type of fishing you do. But it's definitely a lot of fun. But I want to thank Michael and April for being part of the show and being subscribers to the channel and being active members of the channel. So that's really what caught my attention and wanted me to invite them to be a guest on the show today. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed us doing an interview. We look forward to doing maybe some more interviews really soon. But thanks for joining us today, guys. Y'all be careful out there. Be safe. We love you. Come check us out by subscribing, and so you don't miss any more episodes of We Be Fishing or the B&T Catfishing Adventures. You get 2 for 1 just by hitting that subscribe button. You guys take care. We'll see you soon. Tight lines.